There's definitely a lot of stuff I feel I need to discuss. Of course, we're going to start with George Lombard Jr., the Yankees' top prospect, who was ripping the cover off the ball in his debut. And yesterday, he's made a few nice plays. I didn't get to talk about this because I was in Philly on Tuesday, giving out our Latino MVP for NL Pitcher of the Year to none other than Christopher Sanchez. So that was cool. But the Yankees still have a lot of problems despite Lombard. We're going to get to all of it. Thanks everyone that's in here and checking it out. I appreciate it, and we're gonna get it going everywhere. So, the Yankees are in a tough spot here. Um, they are only one game up now in Boston for that second wild card and second place in the division. This has been another collapse, and yes, I know the Red Sox are playing great baseball, and of course, I'm gonna get to that side of it, but um, it's been less than 2 months, well less than 2 months. This is going to be a stretch from June 24th to now August 6th. So let's say it happens tomorrow or something, or the 8th or whatever. So let's say that I think if it happens, then it would obviously be an epic collapse. But like obviously, it wouldn't mean that the Yankees couldn't get it back. A and B, it's like they still aren't a first either team, so that makes it interesting as well. But the Yankees have been playing poorly, and the Red Sox 30-5 in their last 35. This included a 15-game win streak, and it's a combination of everything. When you look at what's happened with the Yankees, with injuries, bad execution, managerial decisions at times, the roster decisions, the trades they didn't make, and I gave the deadline a C, and I still think that's a decent grade. I know some people want to go lower, and like I said, the only reason that I gave it a C was because just because they did add two bats that are going to help them. There we go. Sorry. So they did do that. So I did appreciate that part of it because Luis Garcia is a good player. Luis Garcia is already showing that. Had a few hits, decent at first, and obviously the home run that could have been a big go-ahead bomb had they not, like, yeah, but had a horrible bullpen implosion led by Angel Seville, who is now a trusted member of the Yankees bullpen because they didn't make any moves at the deadline. That guy, yeah. So, I mean, not optimal by any means at all, but I mean, they're still in the mix. They're 4.5 out from Tampa Bay, obviously. They do have the first wild card as of now. Worst case scenario, they probably end up with the second, but that could spell trouble because this Yankees team under Aaron Boone has not performed well as a road team in the playoffs. And the only time that they made the World Series was the time they had the number one seed. And all those times they lost to Houston, they did not have the home field advantage. Same situation with the Red Sox, Blue Jays, and not counting the COVID year with Tampa Bay. So, I mean, when is enough here? We'll have to figure that out soon, I guess. But, like, let's go back to Lombard because I do want to talk about George. I mean, this is really an incredible story, and I just think since he's Cuban American, I find it extra cool, obviously. But, like, at the same time, his mother is Cuban, and then the grandparents were born in Cuba. His father's obviously a big league infielder, and everything else that goes with that. And then his brother Jacob also hit a home run in the first game. So, as a pro with the Marlins in low A. So now I'm gonna show some highlights of George, and then we will transition a little bit. But for him to live up to the billing this early, his offense has been good, obviously, with a home run ahead. You knew the defense was going to play, and it is playing already. 2 defensive run saves already. He's making a bunch of plays, making normal plays look easy. I mean, making difficult plays look routine, making the difficult plays. He knows where to be in the field. Like, it's just that composure, that confidence, that swagger, attitude he carries himself with. It's very transparent of a big leaguer guy with a lot of confidence, and it's very impressive for his age at 21. Not to be overwhelmed by coming up after a disappointing trade deadline in many people's eyes. So that's kind of how that goes. But at the same time, they still are in the playoff spot. So a lot of flows, ebbs, cons, pros, but like there's also a lot of disgusting stats that I'm going to get to later in this show that really show how poor this offense has played. I mean, the wrist numbers since Aaron Judge went out are basically last across all baseball. They have like 60 runs in their last 19 since the All Star break. So even with Lombard coming up, getting Garcia Jr., getting Elliot Ramos, who hit the double yesterday with the shoe coming off, and then there's some defensive stuff with him and Grisham that we have to get into for sure. But um, very, very frustrating stuff there. That's kind of how I would put that, I guess. But what are you gonna do, honestly? Um, they did not address the catcher position, and I feel like that's a mistake. Even though Austin Wells is playing better last night, there was a prime situation that you don't want to see take place. Ali Sanchez with the bat in his hands, with the game on the line. That's exactly what you don't want to see. Oh, thank you. Yes, I have some more Clemente stuff too. I don't know if you can fully see all of it. There's like a picture up there. Then there's this little pin. I guess I can show the vet thing quick. Here's the vet thing with Clemente. I got this from the All Star game in Philly. There was like a big Clemente display thing, I think for the museum or the foundation. I did get some of that stuff at the museum as well. So yeah, but and they speaking of that, Elliot Ramos is Puerto Rican, so that's also exciting. But we'll see how he does. There was a ball he should have caught yesterday. Definitely, he's not the best defender, but his bat over the long haul of this, not even long haul now because it's less than that. Um, so, I mean, that's probably the best way to put that. Now, this clip thing was giving me some problems, unfortunately, but I will figure it out and we will get it going. But anyway, so Lombard has been great, and like you love the intangibles, you love the makeup, and you love everything else about him for the most part. I mean, honestly, he is exceptionally gifted and poised for a kid of his age, and the difference he's gonna make defensively is gonna be leaps and bounds that people are gonna see. Even if he said just has a league average bat, um, so that's that sounds good. I better be on this thing, okay? I hope I'm still here. Okay, we're working on it. I should be fine, hopefully. Um, but anyway, I hope this is good. Um, shit. Yeah. Am I on? Let's check Twitter really quick, just because it says the connection's lost right now. Definitely, it says I'm good on here. All right, so we're gonna keep going with it. Whatever's happening inside my restream will be fine, hopefully. I don't like how it says reconnecting, but I'm gonna assume it's gonna figure itself out as this goes on. Hopefully. I guess I'll check the YouTube on my phone as well as this is going on. Like, but definitely on Twitter, if you could see this at least or anywhere else, simply ask me questions. I'll answer. Um, it looks like I'm good on the computer. I don't know why it's saying the connection's lost, but we're gonna keep rolling, and I will figure out how to get this clip that I wanted to share with everybody. All right, so we're gonna put it on Twitter, and then we're gonna try to download it. I hope that works. Oh wow. Okay, so it comes up in there, but not any other one. Okay. Let's try this again. I'm just gonna show like the home run and the hits. Yeah, this makes no sense, of course, but I mean, let me see. Oh, this may help me. Okay. Yep, okay, so I know that's good news, but okay, alright, everything should be good now, but it wasn't before, I'm sorry. So I'm really impressed with Lombard Jr. Getting to speak with him, looking back on some things that we talked about in Somerset last year. It's just the maturity is off the charts with him. Like, he really does carry himself well. He's very composed. Like, he talks about being a leader with the team because he's bilingual, so that's great for pitchers and catchers communications because he has a Cuban background growing up in Miami. So he's a very smart, polite kid as well. And he comes from a great background, family support and everything, a very athletic family. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and the physical tools are off the charts already at 21, and he's an excellent, superb, elite defender. Like, I talked to Dan Fiorito about him, who's coached him behind the scenes with the minors and stuff, and he said he's one of the best defenders he's ever seen, and it really comes easy to him. There's even some comps like Omar Vizquel, which I don't really want to make personally, but I respect that high pedigree that is being talked about, and I do understand that magnitude. So I think he's going to be good for them at the bottom of the lineup. I'm stressing the league average bat because his defense is so good, but like, maybe he will hit really well. I mean, you never know how a kid could come up and carry a team. Like, look at the situation with Ramsey Rosarino when he first burst on the scene with the Rays. Like, I'm not saying Lombard has that power, but he could spark the team a little bit. But the problem is that this team is so flat and there's so many holes around George. Like, even if he plays good, as you've seen, the first game, he helped the win big time, clearly. 2-0 win, he hits a solo shot. But you can't win games 2-0 every night. And then the second game, they get shut out. He gets a hit, he makes some more good plays on defense. But again, like, I'm not asking him to hit a 4-run homer, and I don't think anyone else should be either, but grand slam, wow. But I don't think anyone else should be either, but he's going to have to try to blend in as much as possible, but the team really needs help in that infield, so it's a big spot for him, and he's taking advantage so far, and he's going to be the future. He's going to be the starting shortstop next year, but what's going on at third base? Still, third base is a huge hole. Ryan McMahon has been terrible, and he has the worst WRC plus in a 400 at-bat stretch for the Yankees with an 82. So I think even Aaron Hicks was better in certain situations, even Gallo and whatever else. But, like, we knew McMahon wasn't that good, but they thought they could fix him in a short porch with help, but it hasn't, and he's not giving them a lot. And Ahmed Rosario has been okay for a bench player, but you need more than what both of them are giving you. And Rosario is also not a good defender, and he's not hitting lefties how he's supposed to either. So I actually question if he's even going to survive when everyone comes back, if Bellinger, Judge, and Stan all do return. So, yeah, I think I could do the Lombard thing now. Let's do it.
The 0-2. Hit in the air, deep left field, Torres back, George Jr. has entered the yard and left it. 2. Lombard, it's a rocket into center field, a base hit. Left, where the Yankees have not scored a run. Lombard tested here to second for one, on to first. Up the middle, Lombard, glove, steps, fires, hitting over. Rolled to short, could be 2. Lombard shovels, Chisholm across. Smoked up the middle. Oh my! Lombard! Oh baby! Smoked, one out to Lombard. Quick hands, one away. Another.
Well, All right. Well, sorry about that, everyone. But again, well, you look at all that stuff, and it just shows how great of a defender he is. It looks so easy for him. Every single one of those plays, even the diving play with the throw, looked like he was just chilling. And that's what it is for George. I mean, he's taking all these reps. He's been around in all these big league clubhouses and everything. And he's going to be a good part of this team. So you still have 2 weak links. So third base and catching, although Wells is playing better, like I said. Third is probably your biggest problem. Jazz has to wake up. His OPS is under 700. And then we can't forget about Trent Grisham either. He's been awful. And there were 2 balls he probably should have caught yesterday that really hurt the Yankees as well. So one of them was a 2-run double by J.J. Weatherholt. So, I mean, he's not been good for the worth the $22 million that he was signed to. Obviously, it was just the Yankees wanted to get him back, and they did. But at what cost? So, so that's what's going on. But we'll see how everything progresses. Okay, so anyway, you gotta see how everything is going with the situation. But you look at how, like, the Yankees have gotten themselves in a situation where it was from June 24th to August 6th now, from the Red Sox and the Yankees stretch run here. Now, we could go through playoff scenarios and like why it's just not good as long as they don't get at least the first wild card of the division. But here is the situation the Yankees find themselves in, and it is eerily familiar to last year. Last season, they end up losing the division. They have to go through the AL East thing with the Red Sox and Blue Jays. Now, if they lose the division, they're most likely gonna have to go through that exact thing again because they will be 4 or 5, and the top seed is coming out of the AL East again, for sure, with how the other divisions have been. And then the other wild card is going to be either above them or below them, right above or below 4 or 5, because there's a huge gap between the second wild card and the third, and I don't think either team is going to end up slipping to the third, most likely. Unless the Red Sox bottom out because they've just been too hot, and I do think they're going to start losing, obviously, at some point. But as we speak, they were down 2-0, and I think they are now it's 5-5. So we got a wild one going on in Boston. Red Sox and White Sox there, and there's been a lot of action. I think Luis Castillo may have given up a grand slam. Chase Morales hit a homer. Colson Montgomery had runs. Colton Wong had a 2-run. Ananashi double. And then Monasterio double. Siegler double. So it's been a lot of action in Boston. A lot of back and forth. And that's what the Red Sox have been doing. Like, they've been battling. They've been gritty. They've been tough. So, and they swept the Yankees. So that's what got this going. And now there's a big series coming up later this month, the Yankees-Red Sox to end the month. And the Yankees need to take care of that, because if they don't, they will be behind the Red Sox in the standings. Mark my words. And Judge, we got an update from Judge. To me, it seems like September could be in play, because it's not going to be as fast as people would hope. Still, he's not even clear for baseball activities yet. And all the stuff that happened to him, it's going to be a process for him to even, like, get back to form to do those stuff, like swing the bat and everything. So, like, that's why I think it's still at least a month out. So, you got to watch for that. And I know it's a lot on him because their team is not that good without him. They can't hit without him. They're last in risk without him. I gotta find some of these troubling stats that we're gonna go through while we're here. So, anyway. Alright. Let's go to Twitter and find the stats about the Yankees offense. There's actually, like, some of this stuff is eye-opening. It really, all right, here we go. So I'm going to give credit where it's due. This is Donnie C Sports. All right. We're going to do a double post here, sort of. You'll see why. All right, so here it is. Yankees have scored. I gotta get rid of that caption thing. Let's get at my background, fam. Weird stuff getting involved, and this means that they've scored just 17 runs in 20 days on hits that weren't homers or some kinds of out, which is horrifying. I mean, wow. That's really eye-opening stuff. But again, this is a team that's losing games 2-1. Like, I think there might have been some 1-0s in there. Like, they have been shut out a few times. So now we're getting some breadcrumbs from Heyman, of course, after the deadline. I love these. I can't wait to see what these are. Okay, so I did just see a bunch of quotes. They're coming. The bullpen market was even thinner. Still, would have been nice to add Wells, Zafarin, or Zenzatella, or Luke Weaver. Apparently, wasn't serious to the salary. Since the Yankees are at the top tier 100%, they called on some cases on some Zafarin and Wells. Trading teams like matches elsewhere better. We see Yankees would have to overpay severely, which isn't their usual style. Yep. And then the Yankees called on Rocky slugger catcher Hunter Goodman, who, like Miller, has 3 years of team control left. But Colorado asked for packages so big they never expected any of the multiple teams to agree to it. For the Yankees, word is it also included Lombard. The catcher market narrowed fast. The Yankees checked on Minnesota's Ryan Weber, but the Twins became surprise buyers. Idiotically, if I may add, outside of what was said. They also called on Cincinnati's Tyler Stevenson, who stayed put after talks into the final hours involving two teams failed to result in a deal, and I think the Yankees were probably one of those. And I think that the story that came out about about the Yankees not making an offer, I'll tell you what I think that is. So I think that's very clear that the Yankees and Reds were talking, and it never got to the offer point because the Yankees did not match up on value. So the Reds were asking too much in the Yankees' opinion. Now, I don't know. We won't never know what was asked. So, I mean, Tyler Stevenson. I want to look into Stevenson more, see like what could have been done or what should have been done. Like, because it's just like the catching position is a black hole. And you can't have Ali Sanchez taking a bat from Luis Garcia Jr. with the game on the line. And you're pinch running him when you're losing? I mean, in the eighth. And you don't think you might need that bat later in the game if you were to come back and you're down 2 runs? Like, I don't know. That's some backwards thinking to me. But Tyler Stevenson. Okay. I mean, all right. I'll show everybody what we see, and then we can make a decision what he could have been worth, maybe. I'll do fan graphs for the fan graphs people also, but reference isn't easier for search. Okay. I mean, Okay, so 1.7 B WAR, 9 bombs, 250 average, 32 RBI, 338 OBP, 750 OPS, 105 OPS plus. I mean, it's better than what the Yankees are getting now. It would basically be a league average catcher, which is a huge upgrade offensively, obviously. How is his defense? We will find out. So, um, we're about to take a deep dive into Tyler Stevenson here. Right-handed hitting catcher obviously would have been very appealing because the Yankees need a good right-handed hitting catcher. So we'll check his Savant page for fun, and I'll tell you what I think. And we'll also do baseball trade values one final time before the season. Okay, wow, all right. This is better than I expected, but all right, I have some catching numbers that don't look too great, but he's only 29. I'm pretty sure it would have been a rental, and I think he had to try to get this thing done. Now, we will go through this here. So that's a lot of red. That's bleeding red. Woba expected 350. X slug 464. Exit velo 91.1. Barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, sweet spot, all that looks good. Bat speed, the only thing it's not amazing. Squared up, chase rate is good. Whiff is okay. K is alright, not the best, but like, I mean, this would have been a huge upgrade, and it should have maybe been explored more. Let's see what Fangraph says. I'm about to pull up his catching, which might have been another part of the reason why I didn't match him on value, because this chart doesn't look too good that I'm about to bring into the folds. Okay, so I mean, he blocks good. Doesn't do anything else too good, according to this. But now we go to Fangraphs. He has a 1.3 WAR, so they don't like him as much. I think they judge the defensive catching differently. So let's see how Fangraphs rates him. I don't think it'll be too good. Let's see. Yeah, none of this looks great. Frame is negative 25, was negative 8.8 this year. Plane run value negative 6 this year, negative 33 overall. There is no DRS obviously for a catcher, I don't think, but none of this looks too good. He was also an outfielder and a first baseman. I don't know if they should have kept him out there. Actually, there's a negative 7 DRS, so I mean, you'd have to give some defense with him. How many percent of runners has he thrown out? Can I at least get something positive there? Let's see if it can. Alright, a 992 fielding percentage. His caught stealing 17.4. I mean, it's not terrible, I guess. Can't say it's great. 76 stolen bases. Leads the league, actually. Okay, wow. This guy's not a good defensive catcher. And 2 pass balls. I mean, that's fine, I guess. That's not that many. But, I mean, it would have been a lineup upgrade, but defense would have been an adventure. So how do I think the Yankees stack up among the American League's elite? I guess should be a good segue. And as the White Sox are up 7-5 in the 5th inning, now we go to the standings check. Let's do the league and the divisions. Also, I will say this: PCA is the MVP right now. If Otani doesn't throw another pitch this year. This American League playoff picture is crazy. And then I want to do National League for fun, but I mean, wow. Tampa Bay clearly the best right now. Yankees second best, but very close to being called by Boston. Now, there is a gap of 8.5 games between the AL Central leader and the AL East leader. Now, when you look at the AL East, you have a gap of 10 games from the West. That's an insurmountable gap, probably, this season for me. Okay, I know crazy things have happened, but I don't expect any team in that division to play well enough to catch the winner of the AL East. That's why the AL East winner is getting a 1 seed. And the loser, the second place finisher, is going to get the top wild card, third place, second wild card. It's very cut and dry. I don't see much changing with that. Now, let's explore this other area here. The White Sox have a 3.5 game lead on Cleveland, largely because the Guardians just got swept by the Mets. The Astros have a 1.5 game lead on the Rangers for the West, so that's very flexible, obviously. Now, the Guardians are a half game out. They're right there. The Twins, a game out. But they lost Joe Ryan today, and again, the decision for them to buy was idiotic, because even if they make it into here, like, that means they're going to lose in the DS at best. So, I just don't think it was smart. But the Orioles are also only a game out. Now, the Tigers are only a game out and they sold, so could they somehow get in despite selling? That would be crazy. Max Clark has looked good. Dylan Dingler's making his own MVP case to crash the party with Jordan Alvarez after what he did today with the bomb of 3 hits. I think all RBIs on the 3 hits too. And his F4 is only 0.3 away from Jordan, and he's a catcher. So it's going to make a case, but we'll see how close Ding can get. Now, the Blue Jays are only 3.5 out despite selling. Also, the Mariners 1.5 out of the wild card, and I guess that would make them around 3.5 out of the division. Yeah, so they have not been playing good ball. They got to get it together. That division's been handed to them on a silver platter all year. They're still not figuring it out. So they have to be a lot better. We'll see. Now I want to see now we're going to see the NL, because there's only 2 teams that are actually 3 teams that are out of it in the AL: Royals, Athletics, and Angels. We won't be seeing them in October. Now, the NL is a little more clear now, but that third wild card is still murky. Now the Brewers are the best team in the NL, and we saw this happen before, and they still got dog walked by the Dodgers. The Braves are the second best team in the National League, and the Dodgers have lost 6 in a row. So they're getting these teams back in it basically, and we'll see how seriously they would take this situation. But I don't really think they care about their seed that much, and they're gonna win the NL West running away. As you see that gap with the Padres, well, D-backs are actually 8 out. I mean, yeah, they're still gonna win this division. Let's not get crazy here. I still expect them to probably get at least a top 2 seed. I think they could wrestle off Atlanta or Milwaukee, maybe not both, but maybe they do. So check out the Cubs. The Cubs swept the Dodgers, and they won today, and PCA is making his MVP case loud and clear to me. And you look at the Cubs, 67-49. They had a very good trade deadline. Gausman, Clay Holmes, and a few other things. The Cubs, to me, are a pretty safe bet to be a first wild card. The Phillies now, because the Brewers still have a 5 or 6 game lead in them. The Phillies are playing a little bit better lately against DC, although they did lose yesterday. So Phillies have to find more consistency. 8 games over. They're firmly in the mix for a second wild card still, but there is some trouble on their heels. They have around a 2.5 game cushion, it looks like right now, on the Padres. And the Diamondbacks are tied with the Phillies, basically, at this point in time. So we'll see which team gets the better seed there if the D-backs stay in it. The Marlins sold, but they are only 3 out still. The Cardinals sold, only 4 out. Reds, 4.5 out. Pirates, 5 out now, slipping. And the Nationals, 6 out. So the Nationals are probably done. The Pirates I wouldn't discount yet, but it's very concerning whatever is going on with Paul Skeens. And the Reds are playing better ball, but they don't have enough. Cardinals, same situation. They just took advantage of a bad Yankees offense. Marlins, So Padres, D-backs, and Phillies are probably going to end up wrestling for 2 of the 3 spots. And for a while, I thought Cubs, Phillies, Padres made sense in this mix. So after the deadline the Padres had, getting Robbie Ray and Casey Mize, even though Mize didn't pitch that well his first time out, they are in a good position here. The Diamondbacks, yeah, they got Lars Nootbaar, but they didn't do enough to help their pitching, in my opinion. So I feel like the Padres could get them, and it's going to be fascinating to see what happens. Now, in terms of the Yankees, what I think their ceiling is, last year I said DS, I felt, for a while, and that's what happened. And I said CS was their best. This year I think it's probably a World Series appearance, but I don't think they're going to win it because the Dodgers are too damn good. Unless some other stuff happens, but we got a long way to go. I think there is a world where the Yankees could still win the AL East, but they have to figure it out sooner rather than later if that's going to happen. But they have time. It's only 4.5 games. But the issue is the Red Sox are also hot on their tails now, so they're going to have to basically battle 2 teams down the stretch to win the AL East. If they don't win it and get the top wild card and hold off Boston at least, then let's say they beat Boston at home, they could play Tampa Bay in the DS, and that could go either way on the road especially, so that would be a series that would concern me. So to me, it's if the Yankees win the division, they're probably going to the World Series. If they don't, I don't know if they're probably going to lose in the DS because this team is not good enough offensively still. Even when you get Judge Bellinger and Stanton maybe, because I'm not counting on that still, despite the fact he's doing YBP. I mean, I do, I pointed out the other day, unless they put Luis Garcia at third, which I don't know if I would do, but walk with me here. This is in the world where Giancarlo returns. Stanton is your DH. Garcia is playing third base. Rice is playing first. Wells is catching. Lombard short. Second, Jazz. And then you have Then you have Ballinger, Grisham, and Judge, or Spencer Jones. I mean, it's a lot better optically with the lineup, but McMahon's glove would be so much better than Garcia's at third base. But Garcia can hit. Like, he already has a homer. You can tell he's going to be a good short porch fit. And then Elliot Ramos against lefties. The lefty lineup's definitely going to have Ramos in it. Ramos is, let's say Stanton returns, then you could DH Stanton, Rice at first, Ramos in left or right. You sit Grisham, you play Bellinger, you do Judge, then you go Jazz, or you could even do Caballero at second if you wanted to. And then you do Rosario third if he survives the purge. Or you do Caballero, Jazz, and yeah, let's just play it simple. Jazz stays second base, you're putting Lombard at short, and Caballero's going to play third against lefties. And then you would still have Ali Sanchez catching probably, which, like, again, you don't want. So that was the worst part of the deadline, was not getting a catching help. I feel like the bullpen's almost secondary to me. But Paston was more surprised they didn't get the bullpen help, which I guess I get because they cleared out spots for it, but they didn't end up reciprocating him. So, yeah. But so let's see. If we go, let me see if there's anything popping on Twitter. Oh, some notice. So, yeah, nothing too crazy really, but it's just like, how long are you just going to continue to do the same thing over and over again, expect different results? Like, I just don't get it. They want to stick on their process and the values, and they want to overpay, and they did overpay in the Elliot Ramos trade. That's what we broke down in real time. It was a 15 or 16-9 trade in favor of the Giants on the site. So I'm gonna do a Stevenson trade. I think I tried one at one point. I definitely should have lined up a Ramos trade the other day. I almost did it too, but so it's loading now. And the bullpen, I didn't even get to the bullpen fiascos. Now, with this bullpen, Kervin Castro's in it, Yerry De Los Santos is in it, and it's August 6th. And Castro's actually been good, but you don't know how long that can last. And Yerry's been okay. Hedrick's been great. Bednar great. Cruz has been solid. Hill has not been that great, or even good, honestly. Yarbrough is okay, but not a world beater. Blackburn's been pitching over his head. And that's your Yankee bullpen. Just doesn't have enough high leverage fump. And expecting the same 3 to 4 guys to carry you every day is not going to work. And they really should have added something like a Riley O'Brien would have been perfect. Say it again, him and Ivan Herrera. But anyway, let's see if that loaded. Yes, it did. Alright, so we're gonna cook up a trade for the last time probably until the off season, where the lockout is gonna make your minds run crazy with trades. Alright, so we look for Stevenson. His value is a 1. A 1. I know it'll probably drop because the deadline's over, but, like, I'm gonna make a dumb trade here. go. Why would something like this not be able to work, or something a little more with a pitcher or something? Like, could have just did a decent minor league pitcher and a position player. Would have been fine. They have a million pitchers, but it didn't. It wasn't meant to be. So I don't know. So how do I expect the Lombard to be to end the year? I'll say he hits like 6 or 7 homers, like 25 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, OPS 750, average 250. How would we feel about that? I think it's reasonable, because I think he might have more pop than people realize. So that finger injury cost him like a month, and it also would have been a Futures All-Stars appearance for him. So that's definitely tough, but sometimes you just have to be thankful for what's happened, and I'm sure he is. So could he have been up sooner? Why do I think it took until the deadline? I think because like they definitely wanted to make sure nothing else was going to happen. I think they did definitely try to get an infield bat, in my opinion, the deadline on the left side somewhere. But as you saw, like, there wasn't a lot going out that way. I know that sounds weird. There wasn't a lot of infield help getting traded at the deadline. That's what I mean. So there wasn't really much the Yankees could do. They were kind of hamstrung there, unfortunately. But at the same time, like, let's see what they do against the Braves. They have 2 pitching advantage matchups here. Friday, it's going to be Malay versus Fried. That's a huge advantage for the Yankees. Fried going against the former team, so you wonder how much do they know each other. I know there has been a lot of turnover in Atlanta, but obviously most people were still in place, I think, when Max Fried was there. So we'll see what he's going to change and adjust. And then we'll look forward towards Saturday. Is going to be Cole versus Sale on a Saturday night. Why do you think the Yankees weren't active with the deadline? I was thinking more than just Garcia and a platoon bat. Yeah, I think they just didn't want to match up. I guess like the values, like they say, like they didn't like the prices for the relievers and the catchers. I guess like they just do a big thing on Stevenson. I think it was just like they didn't want to take on a lot of money. I don't think either, it seems like. And then they also got guys that are under control beyond this year. So interesting approach, just to do that, not get any rentals at all. But yeah, it was definitely underwhelming for sure. It's just like it could have been better in so many different areas, like if you think about it. It's just like, you know, they have holes on the team and they can't even fix them now, really. And you're gonna hope they get lucky in October somehow with these matchups and can get hot for like a month. I mean, I guess it hasn't worked for the last 16 years now. Might be 17, 18 soon. So, I mean, that's what it's about. They gotta get this thing going, but I don't think they're gonna do it. I really don't. I see a playoff failure coming somewhere. But could they make the World Series if everything goes right? Yeah, they could. So for Judge, like, let me try to guess here. I think he comes back like early to mid-September, probably closer to mid. Maybe he gets in like the last 10 to 14 games of the year. I think that would be a win to get him enough to get ready for October, hopefully. Would I like to just throw him into October? Gee, I mean, I don't know, like maybe a week or two. maybe closer to 2 because his timetables are ridiculous. He has a strain cap in April 25th. We have not seen this man since. It's August 6th again. Bellinger, like, he's already taking BP, so let's say the hamstring's like the minimum 4 weeks. I guess he could be back in like a month or so, like maybe 3 weeks. Maybe like the first week of September, which will be good. But he's got to hit better too when he returns. He wasn't playing that well. And even Ben Rice has been slumping too. Grisham has been a train wreck. Trent Grisham. He's hitting terribly. OPS is under 700. He's been ice cold, and now his defense is taking a huge step back. I think this offseason the Yankees need to part ways. It's only a 1-year deal. They overpaid for him. It's what it is, but they can't do it again. So, no matter what happens, in my opinion. But they might. And Dominguez and Jones both survive, but Dominguez goes down to AAA, so you do wonder about their futures in the offseason. Also, why don't they just finish building their team in the offseason when there's more available? With a third wild card, it's harder to do for the deadline because more teams are in it unless you're a total bottom feeder like the Rockies. Yeah, like the catcher we didn't think was going to be as bad as is happening. The bullpen you knew had holes, so like that is the one area I would say I agree. I don't know why they didn't do more in the offseason or the deadline to fix the bullpen. Relying on too much internal stuff there, in my opinion, with taking stars, putting them in the bullpen. Clark Schmidt had forearm tightness when he was throwing, but the Yankees say he's fine, so we'll see. As he was trying to rehab a live up situation, he had 2 ups and he was supposed to get 3, so he still has a long way to go. And you can put him in the bullpen, in my opinion. You can't be having him start games with this rotation and what's on the line as he's trying to figure out the pitch again. So I think he should go to the pen, and that's could help, hopefully, I guess, but it's a lot of what ifs. Carlos Lograne could have been in the bullpen for sure. I think he would have been, but he's hurt. He started throwing again recently, but Cashman said he doesn't expect him this year. He doesn't want to put that pressure on him, but if he's back and gets healthy in time, I'm putting him in the bullpen. I would. I think they got to do it, but again, you don't want to risk him getting hurt, so I get that too. Good point, Jordan. Yes, Jordan Blackwell on Twitter. Thank you. Yeah, but Grisham, all the numbers are terrible. Like, he's hitting like 211. And then I do want to say something else too. Volpe is getting way too much heat. Like, you don't have to hate on Volpe to like George. Okay? Like, it doesn't have to go down that way. And I know Volpe underachieved and everything, and he didn't live up to the billing, but the Yankees were the ones that handled it poorly from the whole time. Should have had more time in AAA, and they should have had him working in other positions. Like we said, I mean, and Anthony said that he would play anywhere to be in the majors. So that whole story thing wasn't true, but like now he's going to be getting a lot of work at second, and he's not in the lineup yet in Scranton, by the way. But at the same time, I do expect that he could stick as a second baseman next year. I think it's clear it's a better fit for him, and I actually think he could be very good to great second baseman. Now let's see if he can get the bat going a little bit more. The one thing I liked when he was here, and there are some stats that actually do favor him that I have to share in that Twitter thread, but the one thing I liked was that he was walking more and the on base was better, but it's almost like he traded that and the power was gone. So I want to see if he can find that balance of keeping the on base in a good spot while having a bit more pop and then just hitting for a higher average. Like, just let it all progress. There's still time. He's still only like 23, I think. So, yeah. It's Lombard's time. You gotta let the better guy play. That's what happened. Simple as that. Because, like I said the other day, Caballero and Volpe's 25. My bad there. Wow, time is flying. Caballero is not better than Volpe, but he serves a better purpose off the bench than Volpe does because of his skill set. And that's a fact. But everyone's getting hyped about Lombard, and they should. All these talent evaluators say he's got it. People in the game, analysts, like everyone's in. So I'm all in. There's no reason why I shouldn't be. The Yankees have just one run in the last 7 games, and think I'm courtesy of a homer of an error or the ghost runner. Wow, that's terrible. Okay, so a couple things. We'll do 2-ish tweets and then we'll get going. Okay, so this tweet here. I think the viral he gets is because he represents a lot of what the front office ownership has been pushing: arrogance, refusal to adapt, cutting corners instead of getting premium players that can help them and not selling Seager. Yeah, no, I don't think it's. Yeah, I think it's like a frustration point of people in the. Yes, I don't think it's fully hate on him. You're actually right. I think it is that. That's actually a good point, because it's kind of like when I was trying to hint at with the expectations of like what weren't his fault, of what was made of him. Now, he was a first-round pick, so we can't say he's a scrub, and he's not a scrub still. He's just average. So it's not bad, it's not great, but like he's playable on the major league level still. Like he could be a bench player for a team, and maybe he could be a starting second baseman in another city as well. But here's an interesting fact. The Yankees haven't had a game in which they have more than one RBI hit or a go-ahead, I'm assuming that's what the GO means, my bad there, or sacrifice fly or grounds up maybe, or sacrifice fly since July 26th. Neither one of the two players who knocked those runs are on the team anymore, Volpe and Schumann. Yeah, that's crazy. It gets better, actually. Yeah, these two are going to be really jarring. And then, yeah. Okay. So. Here they come. I do agree with you, Jordan, I do. Alright. So Boone and Cashman did Volpe no favors, okay? Only 4 and I'll read the stats and I'll get into that more. Only 4 players have more than 1 RBI, single, double, triple, sacrifice fly, or grounds out, and only 1 cabbie's on the roster right now. The other 2, Bellinger, Dominguez, and the leader by a mile, Volpe. This was in a 19-game stretch. Only 4 players have more than 1 RBI. Wow, that is staggeringly bad. Well, that's not counting home runs, but still. Another fun fact, the Yankees' last sacrifice fly didn't come extra innings, and only one of those, which is also in Volpe's, came away for it July 12th. So, I mean, Volpe was actually playing the small ball and doing things right. Like, I understand he's not a star, and that's what he was supposed to be. And that's where, and you'll look at the career, everything's right in line with what it normally is. So, I mean, I'm not saying he should still be starting. That's not what I'm saying at all. He shouldn't be. But there's more to it. There's always more to it. Like, think about these people's families and that you're attacking. They see what's going on. Like, these people are human beings. Like, they don't perform on a baseball field. You don't have to, like, send them nasty comments and stuff. Alright, so this is what we're looking at. A 1.1 B WAR. I think his F4 was closer to 2. I'll check just for fun. 1 homer and 171 at bats is rough. 240 batting average is okay. It's 16 points higher than his career was. 20 runs, 19 ribs, 7 stolen bases. OBP 325, which is what I was talking about. But you see the slug trade-off there, which is interesting. It's a 50-point drop from his career. The OPS is actually 16 points lower because that slug is so low. But the OPS plus is consistent, 82, 83. So you can't even say he's a league average hitter. But his defense is good enough to the point that he is at least an average player. And you look at the 3 WAR seasons out of the 9.4 he had in his career. So not a bum, but not a star. That's the bottom line. So he actually has, it looks like the same. Yeah, wow, 1.1. Interesting. A lot of times they're different, but yeah, it's, oh, now it wants to do it. Alright, well, JG Show Pod, follow us on IG and TikTok. A lot of stuff coming from there. And then search my name, it's Julian Guilarte. Subscribe on YouTube, getting very close to 14,000, so 1,400, so I really appreciate that. I think we're like 12 or 11 away. Follow me on Julian Guilarte 1 on Twitter, Julian Guilarte 11 on Instagram. Search my name on Facebook and TikTok. Hit that sub button and let me know what you think about this Yankees team, where they're heading. Am I right with my assessment that it could be a CS exit or a World Series exit? I think whoever they play in the CS, they'll end up beating, because A, they'll either have the home fields, or B, they'll play a much weaker team than they are. They would have already beaten the more difficult teams in the wild card and the DS, so that's why I feel like the gap is like World Series or DS now. There is also a scenario where they could lose in the first round if they go up to Fenway Park. Now let me explain. So Fenway and the Yankees, if they go on the road up there, I'm not even going through 2021. We know what happened, but this would be a 3-game set now. Now last year the Yankees beat the Yankees beat the Red Sox in 3 games. A lot of stuff's different now. There's no Crochet probably. Roman Anthony may or may not be back. He's trying to get going, I think. They have Wilson Contreras now. They have Caleb Durbin. They got Ranger Suarez, Sonny Gray. A lot of stuff has changed. Peyton Tolley. So with the Yankees, I mean, a lot of it's very similar, but now you have Luis Garcia, Elliot Ramos, and a better version of Cam maybe, although the playoff Cam was excellent. Oh, and Ryan Weathers, yes. So a few differences there. Obviously Lombard will be a difference. So yeah, I mean, that is what it is. Just don't trust offense to win the World Series. And they could at least win the wild card, depending on the matchup. Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna win it, I don't think either. Like, they might make it, but it is matchup predicated, like, depending on if they win the division or not. Now I'm going through this wild card scenario. Let's say they end up going to Boston, the Red Sox catch them. Now, if that happens, then you would have Free, Cole, and Schlittler. You'd probably go Cam 1, Free 2, Cole 3 maybe, but Garrett Cole has not pitched well at Fenway Park, so if it came down to a game 3 and he was on the mound, I don't know how good I would feel about that, because A, he's rehabbing, and B, like, he does not pitch well at Fenway Park. Like, bold capital letters emphasize it. I don't know what it is, but he gets lit up like a Christmas tree every time he throws there. So I would not like that. Now, if it's Tampa Bay, you got to go to Tampa, and the Red Sox win the division, let's say. I mean, he pitches fine against Tampa Bay, but the Trop is a house of horrors for the Yankees, and weird stuff happens there. So I wouldn't love that either. They really got to win this division, otherwise I don't know about the World Series. Now, if they're the first wild card, I feel better about it, seeing them do 2 road game series. So I still think they can make the World Series as a wild card. A few teams have done it, obviously, and won it out of that, but obviously they'll try to prefer to win the division, play less games, and have the home field. So, yeah. But thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.